Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day of mathematics. Woo, woo. We got warm-up number 2 on the screen. So today we're going to try and make it through a lesson. You're like, what? Day 2, Mr. Q? Of course. Let's go. So it's going to be a review. Hopefully this comes back to you pretty quick. But we are going to be touching into stats today. So we start with a warm-up, copy the warm-up, you work on the warm-up. From there we do the warm-up together. From there, you copy the agenda. I'm going to show you that in a little bit after we get there, and so on and so forth. But for right now, there's 3 problems up on the screen. Number 3 is basically just questions, reflective questions. Read those and answer them appropriately, and then we'll get started after that. Okay? And I'm going to pause the video. And by the way, I'm recording so I can upload the lesson at the end of the day. For those of you that haven't been with me before, I have a YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, 23 Mr. Q. And there's going to be a playlist. I'm going to make a playlist just for statistics, because now I have Algebra 1, I have Algebra 2, and then I'm going to have the statistics playlist. So go to that one whenever you're missing something from class. Yes, Mr. Q. All right. All right. Let's get to work. Let me take attendance really quick. Let's see. By now we got these. Yes? You're like, yes, Mr. Q. All right, for number 1, I want the sum. The sum. Let's see. Let's start with Mel. Mel, what would be the sum for number 1? 360.2075. Hands if you got that. Looks about right. That's our sum. Make sure when you are adding these, make sure you write them vertically and you align all the decimals and then fill in with zeros the rest, so on and so forth, okay? Ascending order, basically you start with the smallest one and move yourself upward, so you start with 3.0005, yes? And so on and so forth, okay. All right, number 2, simplify. One more time, share with your neighbor, see what you got for that so I can call on someone. Simplify number 2. All right. All right, Mel, pass to someone. Amy, what'd you get for number 2? Negative 6x squared plus 11a plus what? 2m. Hands, have you got something like that? Yeah? And they rearranged it already in standard form, but if you got it in any other order, that's okay for today. Yay. All right. All right, so far so good, yes? So we got the warm-up. You answered the questions. It's just a reflective question, so like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure the answers are obvious for the questions, I believe, but that's something just for you to reflect on, and we can talk about that throughout the week as we get there. And just heads up, hint, wink, wink, Friday's coming. Woo! Tell your neighbor what's going on Friday. Let's go. Woo! Underneath your warm-up, copy the agenda, please. The agenda's on the screen. Here goes. Warm-up number 2. Today we're going to touch up on measures of central tendency. Like I said, it's a review. We're going to get more into those later on when we get to the unit of that. But today should be a little expeditious. So like that, we are well on our way. And your home plate, it's only 4 problems. Only. All right, so once again, the agenda reads warm-up number 2. We already completed that. We're going to get into the lesson of measure of central tendency. Your home plate for tonight is only 4 problems, and adjourn. Now, the process goes as follows. We start with a warm-up. We go to the agenda. From there, I ask you to get the home plate out from last night. So do that at this time. Now, those of you that have been with me before, tell you never when I pick up home plate. When do I pick up home plate? Yeah, whenever I want. I don't really have a date. So it's just like I say, today we're turning it in and we turn it in. Because you guys need to be practicing this on your own, and you got this, yes? Seniors, right? Got this by now, yeah? Okay. So, before we move on, turn to your neighbor, let them know the difference of C. Difference of problem 1C. Turn to your neighbor, let them know what you got for the difference of 1C. Difference. All right, difference of 1C. Who went last? Amy? Pick someone, Amy. Devin, what'd you get for the difference? 7. Hands if you got that. That is correct. If you didn't get that, just remember we're dealing with subtraction, which means -5 minus -12, and you do the inverse here and so on and so forth. All right, and one last one. Let's do same one. Let's do the quotient. Tell your neighbor what you got for the quotient of that same one. All right. So quotient for number 1C. Devin, pass someone. Amy, back to you. Quotient. 0.416. Hands, have you got that? Yeah, that's about right. And if I was asked to round that to the nearest hundredth, tell you what the nearest hundred would be, 0.2. Yeah, this is the hundredth, this is the thousandth, okay? All right, and last, not least, tell your neighbor the sum of number 2. Sum of number 2. All right, Amy, pick someone. Sum. Zach, what'd you get? Uh-huh. And if you got that, looks about right, yes. And once again, you're doing all this by yourself without any calculators at home, right? Yes. All right. So, with that said, set that aside. You keep that one. I'm not going to pick that one up. Let's move on. Tonight's home plate, copy this, please. It's only 4 itty-bitty problems. I'll give you some time for that. All right, so let's see. So far, warm-up, done. Agenda, done. Went over the home plate from last night. We didn't turn it in. And then tonight's home plate, okay? So that means we're ready for the lesson, yes? So, to stay organized, especially those of you that like to shove papers into your backpack or somewhere, just turn the page over and just continue from there. Please, pretty please, some of you. Some of you already have your organization, that's fine, but some of you that are still struggling, just continue there. Reminder, we're already on regular schedule. We're going to remain on regular schedule as we move along. And materials needed, once again, make sure you get your materials for this course. And those of you that know me, I like to use different colors for different things just to make sure we see the differences as we go along. Highlighters are encouraged because we're going to be dealing with data and such, okay? All right, so here's a paper. For those of you that have never taken Cornell notes with me, here it goes. Let me show you how to set it up. Here's your paper. Here's the red line right there. You can either fold up to right here or just draw a line down. And then you count 4 lines up and fold or draw another line. Your objective goes there. And then today, since we're starting with a concept, I do want a fair model right here. What does that mean, Mr. Q? That means you're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then you draw an oval or a rectangle. And then bam, 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 and then a couple more. And there's your Freyer model. And if you want an example, it's over there on the whiteboard. So here goes definition. Right here, critical attributes. Over here, examples. And over here, non-examples. Okay? And this column right here that's left, you just write a Q, and that stands for Quintanilla. No, just kidding. For questions or Qs. Anything that you need to remember from the notes, just write yourself a note over here and point to the notes that we take in class. Okay? All right? Good? Coming back? Is it coming back for some of us? Yes? You're like, oh yes, Mr. Q, my favorite. All right, good. All right, so here we go. Our objective for today, I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. Write that down on your notes. I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. Since your neighbor, let them know where that goes, please, since you already wrote it. Yeah, at the bottom left. Bottom left in that little square, write your objective, please. Once again, I can summarize data and compute the measures of central tendency. So if I was to ask you a question from the objective, such as, what is the concept for today? Turn to your neighbor, let them know what the concept for today is. What is the concept? Yeah, measures of central tendency, because it's in green, just as the question. And what are we doing? We are summarizing and computing stuff with it. Okay? We good? Yeah? On our way? How was lunch, by the way? Good? Hot? Yeah. No, what they sell today? What they have? What? What? They sell flapas here? Really? Are they shredded beef or chicken or what? Chicken? Okay, not bad. Hey, I might start hooking it up over here. Well, it's better than, I like to go to these places, this one place in Mexicali called Flautas Tradicionales, and they pretty much, they just roll a tortilla, and sometimes I look for the string of meat, but there's nothing on some of them, so. But they are very delicious. I don't know what it is. And then you get yourself anyways, we'll talk about that later. All right, we good? So, in your Freyer model, what goes in the center? Measures of central tendency. That goes right here, and here's your definition. Commonly used measures of center for a set of numerical data that represents a central or typical value of the set. Copy that. So, measures of central tendency, what are they? They are measures or things to measure some data that are most commonly used. We're going to be looking at 3, but we're going to be doing other things to the data that are part of seeing the data in a different way, and we're going to come to conclusion in regards to some of the data that we get. So write these numbers down: 75, 75, 85, 95, 100. That is not measure central tendency. What we're going to use is data from there in order to make observations from it, okay? So once again, those numbers are not the measure central tendency. However, we're going to use three measures. Ready? Here we go. The first one, the mean. To find the mean, you need to add all the numbers or the data given and divide it by the number of data that was given. So we have 75 plus 75 plus 85 plus 95 plus 100. How many numbers are those? 5, so we divide by 5, and that's how we get our mean. Now, you guys are seniors. By now you know how to compute your GPA. That's exactly what you do. Yes? Yes, Ms. Q. All right, good. That's one. Remember the second. Okay, good. Median. The median is the number or the value in the center of the data once you arrange it from least to greatest or in ascending order. Question. Are these numbers in ascending order? Yes, so therefore which number is in the middle? So therefore the median is 85. Some of you are having flashbacks to a long time ago, yes? And the last one that we're going to talk about, we got mean, median, and mode. Mode comes from the Latin word moda, which means something that is repeated. So which number is repeated? Yeah, that's 75. That's how we know that that's the mode, something that repeats the most. All right. So for home plate tonight, I am going to ask you to find one more thing. But before we do that, any questions with measure central tendency? Is it coming back? Yeah? Some of you are like, I remember this. Yeah. Yes, there could be more than one mode. And I'm going to give you an example. For example, let's see. There was a time where on Netflix there were two series going on. The first one, actually not on Netflix, let's just say in the digital world, there was one series called Cobra Kai. Have you guys heard of that one? Yeah? And at the same time we had the Mandalorian. Both series were going on at the same time. So what would people talk about? Those two things the most. Have you seen this, or have you seen episode this? Did they ever talk about, I don't know, like, have you seen the videos of Mr. Q on YouTube? No, because that's not the mode. What's the mode? Those two things. So what if I had 3 different series, and all 3 of them are mode? Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes? Median, no. It can only be one. Hey, that's a good one. Did you ever hear that one? All right. So Maddie is saying, Mr. Q, this is cool and all, but there's 2 and 2, and then there's 1 in the center by itself. What if I have something like this? An extra number. What number goes in the middle? We don't have one, right? So what do? We take these 2, we add them and divide by 2. Thank you. Yeah, that's another way of finding the median. Okay? All right. So now that we got that, now that we know the examples, here goes a non-example. Here's the data. A non-example is when they ask you to find the range. The range. What is the range? Taking the largest number in the data and subtract it from the lowest number of the data. So that is 25. These are the measures most commonly used. This one not as much. Okay? All right. So now that we know what they are, what they don't, I'm going to skip the questions. I usually have people share with one another and say, why are these the examples, why are these not? So let's write some critical attributes. Hashtag 3 different measures. Hashtag show typical values of the data. You good? Yes? All right, so far, is it flowing pretty good? Yes? You're like, yes, Mr. Q. All right, so let's get started, no? So I'm going to have you do 4 steps in regards to what we're going to do with the data. Now, some of you, if you want to write the steps, that's fine. I'm going to post them up right now. If you don't want to write them down, if you know what to do by yourself, that's fine. Either way, but I'm going to post them up here. Here goes what we're going to do with the data. Anyways, we found these steps. We're going to organize the data from least to greatest. We're going to identify the mean, median, and mode, also the range. And the median also is called Q2, which is quartile 2. We're going to identify the upper and the lower quartiles. And we're going to summarize the data by analyzing and comparing data. Okay? I'll give you some time for that. All right, so we got 4 steps, basic steps to follow, and the rest should be a piece of cake. Ready? Start with example 1. It says, find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set, 4, 7, 8, 10, 1, 2, 4, 2. All right? So if you don't want to write the instructions, that's okay, because we're going to be doing the same thing for everything. Just copy example 1A and copy the data first. 4, 7, 8, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2. We'll do this one together. Like I said, I know I'm going a little bit faster than usual, but this is more like a review. Okay? So here we go. 4, 7, 8, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2. All right. Before I do anything else, tell your neighbor what is the very first thing you're going to do. What is the very first thing? You're like, I'm going to go home and sleep. Okay. We need to arrange it in what? Ascending order. So we start with 1. Then we got 2, 2, 2. We got 1, 2, 2, 2. Then we go to 4, 4. Then we got 7 and 8. All right. Next, start off with median. Let's see. I'm going to use blue for the median. What is my median? How do we find the median? Tell your neighbor, how do you find the median? All right. So, good conversations. Let's see. Jet, how do we find the median? The number in the middle, okay? There's a middle. Oh, you add the 2 numbers closest to the middle, 2 plus 4 divided by 2. So the answer is, thank you, yes. All right, hands if you got that. All right, next, let's go to mean. I'm going to use red, the mean. All right, tell your neighbor what to do, please. Yeah, so for the mean, we find the sum of all this. Some of you already did it in your noodle. So let's see, we got 8 and 8 and 4, that's 27, 8, 9, 10, that's 30, yes? 30 divided by what? 8, okay? Find me the mean, please. All right, show your neighbor what you got, please. conversations. JC, what'd you get? 3.75. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. And last but not least, no, we're still not done. We got the mode. Hopefully that's obvious. Mode. Everyone? In this case, it's only 2. Some of you wanted to say 4, but which one is the one that is there the most? 2, okay? And let's compute the range. Range. To compute the range, we take the largest number, subtract from the smallest number, so the range is 7. We good? Yeah? From 1 to 5, how comfortable do you feel? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Yeah, 5, 5, 5. Yes, we got this. Yes? All right, do this next one by yourself. Here it goes. Example 1B. Now that you know what to do. There it is. Now they give us number 6, 4, 3, 5, 2, 5, 1, 8. Find me all measures and including the range. Go. All right, should be just about done. So right quick, the first thing we do is what? Ascending order. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 8. Is that correct? Yes? All right. So with that said, mean, median, mode, range. All right. All right, share with your neighbor, see what they got for all 4 of them, then I'll call on someone. All right, think we got this? Here we go. Mean. What'd you get for mean, Andrew? 4.25. Hands if you got that. Looks about right. How about median? Jet. 4.5. Hands if you got that. That is correct. Mode. Mr. Q. Oh, 5. All right. And range. Maddie, what'd you get? 7. Hands if you got that. All right. From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with this? Yeah, it came back, yeah? All right. So with that said, let's look at this one. I gave you less numbers. Do the same thing. However, now I want you to address the question. Here's the question. Which measure best describes this data? Justify your answer. Now here goes the problem. Here's the problem stated. 6 members of the cross-country team ran certain miles in a week. Find the measure's central tendency. So you're going to do that, and then answer the questions at the end. All right? So you don't have to copy the problem, but copy the data and do the work. And then I want you to, for this one, talk it over to your neighbors and see which measure is the one that describes this according to that problem. Okay? I'll give you some time. Go. All right. So, one more time, here it goes. We got 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6. Okay, so our mean, median, mode, and I'm going to include range. Okay, what was our mean? Someone? 4.5. Median, mode, 4 and 5, and range, 3. So according to that data, it says members of the cross-country team ran certain miles in a week. Which of these would represent this data well, and why? You can give us enlightenment. Jet, what do you think? All of them?
Yeah.
Close. What do you think, Matthew? The mean? Because it's the average. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that answer. But this looks like, so, all right. I guess it just depends. I mean, if you make me a good elaboration of what it is, I'll take that answer. So for this one, it's ambiguous, so I'll just leave it as it is. Okay? So that's all I want. I want an answer and elaboration. Last thing. We need to label this in quartiles. Here he goes. What was the median? 4.5, so this is known as Q2. The median, Q2. So that splits the data into two halves. Look at the bottom half. What's the median now of the bottom half? 4. This is known as Q1. Look at the data on the upper half. What's the median there? That is Q3. Lastly, do we know how to find the range? Take the largest number and the smallest number, right? Can we find the IQR, interquartile? Yes. You take the largest quartile, which is what? 5. Subtract from the lowest quartile, which is 4, and this is 1. And that's the home play for tonight. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy your home play. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.